and welcome to We Poets. My name is Sally Baker and I'm the host of We Poets. We Poets is a poetry show for boys and girls between the ages of 6 and 13 years old. So if you would like to be on the program, please have your parents or your school teacher call me. Also, we're always looking for dependable interns to produce our We Poets show. Interns have to be between the ages of 13 and 19, and they can get a credit at school for producing our weekly programs. Also, I'm always looking for adult guests to come and tell boys and girls and adults about their careers. Tonight we have a very special guest from Stop Waste in Oakland, and her name is Lori Caldwell, and she's going to be telling us about how to make worm bins. So I know that's going to be interesting. So we have two pretty young ladies tonight, and they're going to be performing first. So here we go with our first poet. Hello, young lady.
Hi.
How are you tonight?
Good.
Good. Look there at camera 3 and tell me your name and how old you are and what grade you're in, please.
I'm Sahara and I'm 10 years old and
Is this your first time you're on TV?
Yes.
Yes. Are you nervous?
No.
No. You look so pretty tonight. Did you pick out that outfit?
Yeah.
Good. That's a good color for TV. Now tell me, what have you done for us about worms and how to make a worm bin and composting?
Usually at our school, we have these compost bins that have like compost and foil and everything. And usually in garden, we do worm and compost bins.
Good. Now you brought some things that you're going to show us, right?
Yeah.
What's the first thing you're going to show us?
I'm going to show you what goes into compost bins.
Good. Now what goes into compost bins?
What goes into compost bins are dirty napkins,
Hold that up.
banana peels.
Ooh, you don't have a banana in there too, do you, tonight? One's in there?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. We're going to put it in the compost bin after we finish, right?
Yeah.
Okay. What else goes into the compost bin?
And
Apples? Oranges? All kind of fruits and vegetables?
garden scraps.
Garden scraps. Now, do you compost at home and at school?
Yes.
And what do you do at school to put in the compost bin?
We usually have, at lunch, we usually bring out these trash compost bins that are labeled foam, foil, compost, food. And so we usually have those at school, so we usually know at lunch to put our trash, which one it is in.
That's good. And you do the same at home?
Yeah.
Now, do you save bottles and cans and take them to the recycling place and get a little extra money for them?
Yeah.
I do that too. That gives us some extra change, doesn't it? Now, is there anything else you'd like to tell us about composting?
Composting is very good for our environment, and it also makes soil.
Good soil. Do you have a garden at home?
Yeah.
What do you plant in your garden?
We usually we have some pumpkins growing in our backyard right now. We used to have tomatoes, corn, and sunflowers.
Good. Does your mom can anything?
Yeah.
What, have you helped her can something? Have you helped mom can anything? Maybe no.
No.
I used to can when I was a girl. I lived in Iowa, and we lived in a farming town, and everybody had a garden. So in the summer, we had to can vegetables and fruits for the winter, and we'd gather nuts and crack them and put them in jars. Now, tell me all about you. What do you like to do after school for fun?
I usually like to go outside or watch some YouTube videos.
Good. And do you play a musical instrument or sing or dance?
Yeah, I play the violin.
Ooh, how long have you been playing the violin?
I've been playing it since 4th grade.
Good for you. Wonderful. Now, have you taken any trips? Did you go somewhere this summer that was fun?
I went to Lake Tahoe.
Ooh, what did you do at Lake Tahoe?
We went to the lake, we went on boat ride, and we did a lot of other fun stuff.
Oh, I bet that was fun.
Yeah.
Now, do you like school?
Yes.
And what's your favorite subject?
Probably math.
Probably math. Why is it important that boys and girls study math?
Yeah.
Why?
So, like, when you go to the store, you know if they give you the right exact change or something.
That's right. That's right. Now, when you graduate from high school and college, what kind of career do you think you'd like to pursue?
Probably either a dentist or a dancer.
Why do you want to be a dentist?
Because when I first went to a dentist, it was really fun, and I thought the people that worked there
Would be fun.
Yeah.
Okay, we're out of time, but thank you so much. You did a wonderful job. I'm very proud of you. Thank you. And now we have another pretty young lady, and she's going to tell us all about herself. Hello, young lady. Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good.
Good. Look there at camera 3 and tell us your name and how old you are and what grade you're in, please.
My name is Ivessa. I am in 4th grade, and I am 9 years old.
Good. Is this your first time on TV?
Yes,
You look very pretty tonight. Did you pick out this outfit or did Mom?
Mom did.
Oh, she did a good job and you look so pretty. Now, tell us all about what you're going to do for us tonight.
Tonight I will, me and my mom put together a poem that I will read.
Good. And does your poem have a name? Or
No.
Untitled, okay. And what's it about? What's your poem about?
It's about, composting.
Good, all right. Look right there at camera 3 and let's hear it nice and loud, please.
Browns and greens set up their instruments. Water and air prepare to dance. Round and round does they slowly break down. To give your plants a fighting chance, holding water, building soil, compost is the key to having a wonderful garden for you and your family.
Good, let's clap. Wasn't that good? Very good. Now tell us, what do you do at school and at home to compost?
At school, we have, in the classrooms and in the lunchrooms, different bins that are labeled for what you put in each bin. And they're also different colors. The green one is for compost, the blue one is for recycling, and the white one is for, like, plastic and stuff like that. At home, we have a compost bin in our backyard, 2 of them. We have a worm bin and a compost bin. We have a bin for trash and stuff, and we have a recycling bin.
Good, good. Do you save bottles and cans and take them to the recycling place and get a little change?
No. I've never done it with my mom. I don't know if she's ever done it before, though.
Well, I do that to give me a little extra spending money. Now, is there anything else you'd like to tell us about recycling or about this worm bin that Mom's going to tell us about?
The worm bin she's going to tell us about is our home worm bin. We've had it forever, and there's like thousands, well, not literally thousands, but that's what I would say, figuratively. Thousands of worms in there. And I've named some of them. I cannot recognize any of them to know what their names are, but I still stick with the names. The worms we have had for a very long time, and they've come and gone. Like, some of them have died, some of them are still living. And there's roly-polies in there as well.
Those ones that eat too much, huh? You call them roly-poly?
Yes.
How about the skinny ones? What do you call them, skinny minis?
Worms.
Uh-huh.
And roly-polies like pill bugs. Like pill bugs.
I see. Uh-huh. Do you feed them?
Yes.
What do you feed these worms?
Food scraps, paper, like newspaper. Not the plasticky kind, but the regular kind.
Mm-hmm.
And food scraps, like the other young lady showed, like apples, bananas, and like dried up leaves, fresh leaves, and you would put it in the compost bin, and the worms would the roly-polies would eat it up first, and then poop that out, and then the worms would eat that. And then poop that out, and then you got compost.
Oh, wow. Well, I'm afraid of worms, so I don't think I would like to do anything with the worms. Now, is there anything else you'd like to tell us about composting before we talk about you, what you like to do?
Composting is very fun. That's my opinion.
That's your opinion.
I think composting is fun, and it's a good way to help the soil. And what I've seen, I've taken notes in my science notebook at home about what the difference is between regular soil and compost. When we just use the regular soil, no compost, none of that, it would be just grow a little smaller, but with compost it would grow a lot bigger. It gives nutrition to the soil that the plant takes up from the roots and helps it grow much better.
You've really learned a lot. You could go out and teach a class with Mom. Mom better be careful. You might take her job. Now tell me about you. What do you like to do for fun?
For fun, I like to draw. I like to work in the garden. I like to paint. I also like to use my my tablet.
Good. Well, I think we're out of time. We'll talk later. But I'm so proud of you. You've got to be a teacher when you graduate from high school or college. Well, thank you so much for coming. We're going to hear from you later. Thank you.
Food scrap recycling at home. Brought to you by Stop Waste. Food scraps and food-soiled paper are the largest components of our waste stream, making up approximately 35% of what we throw away in our garbage. But by recycling food scraps and food-soiled paper, we can turn them into rich compost for our farms instead of taking up space in the landfill. For the Mesa family of Oakland, food scrap recycling has become a daily habit. Rather than throwing food scraps into the trash or down the garbage disposal, they easily collect all leftovers and food-soiled paper in a small container on the kitchen counter. Common items like coffee filters, paper napkins, leftovers, and much more can be recycled and turned into compost for farmers to grow crops. From the kitchen to the large green waste cart outside, it's a neat and odor-free way to dispose of food waste. In our next episode, we will see exactly how the food scraps taken from the Mesa's driveway are transformed into compost, which provides rich soil for California farms. Make food scrap recycling a part of your daily routine. Learn more at ReadySetRecycle.org. Brought to you by Stop Waste.
I would now like to introduce you to my special guest for tonight. Her name is Lori Caldwell. She is a garden educator at Stop Waste in Oakland, California, and she's going to tell us all about what we should be doing to recycle our scraps. Hi, Lori.
Hello.
How are you tonight?
I am great, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you. The girls did a wonderful job.
They did. I'm very proud.
And I think your daughter's going to take over your position.
I think so. I would be fine with that.
Good.
I would be fine with that.
Good. Now tell us, why should we compost?
Well, composting is a great way to build healthy soil, to recycle materials that otherwise would go into the landfill, as well as, like I said, with building healthy soil. By composting, you're going to build a living soil and provide nutrients for your plants. You build healthy plants and keep your plants safe from pests and diseases as well.
Great. Now, to tell us the difference between worm and basic compost.
Okay. Worm compost, which I'm going to demo for you today, is pretty much based on food scraps only. Basic compost, the kind of compost that Sahara was talking about earlier, is based on the mixing of food scraps along with yard trimmings, things like dried leaves, grass clippings, wood shavings, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. And how long does it take?
For worm compost, typically it takes anywhere from about 9 months to a year. But for basic compost, you could pretty much get a finished product. Depending on how much time you put into it, you can get something within about 6 months.
6 months. Oh, well, it takes a while.
We say compost happens in the compost game. So depending on how much time you spend on it depends on how quickly you get a finished product.
Great. Now, does it smell?
It is not supposed to smell. Compost is not supposed to smell bad. It's supposed to smell sweet and earthy. And if it does smell, that means most likely there's something in there that's not supposed to be in there.
Ooh, like what would be in there?
Generally speaking, for any of these bins, for basic or for worm, anything that you would normally put in your green cart or your organics cart, so anything like meats or dairy, grains, food, pet waste, stuff like that. So we definitely want to avoid that.
Oh, yes, yes. Now, what goes in?
What goes in? Primarily, for worm composting, like I said, your food scraps. So your fruit and vegetable peelings, your eggshells, your coffee grounds, including the paper filter, tea bags, and but for basic compost, it's the same thing that goes into worm compost, except now you're adding some yard waste into that. So that's dried leaves, wood shavings from untreated wood, grass clippings. You can add herbivore manures like cow or chicken or guinea pig to that as well, and you're going to mix those all together. The nice thing about worm compost versus basic compost is there's no mixing, there's no measure of materials that you have to balance out. Worm composting is pretty much straightforward, and it's a great option for people who live in apartments who don't have yard waste as well.
And you have a garden at home?
We certainly do. And this bin actually is our bin from home. This is a homemade bin that we made. We store it in our living room underneath the bookshelf.
In the living room?
Yes, in the living room.
Wow.
So it doesn't smell. And then we have another worm bin outside and a basic compost outside as well.
Wow. Now, I have one more question before you do your demonstration.
Certainly.
What stays on and what goes in?
Okay.
Or what stays out, I guess, and what goes in.
Okay, so what stays out? So, like I said, it's mostly things that you normally would put in your green cart. So any food, any cooked food, beans, rice, any things like meats, any dairy, cheeses. Sometimes if you have, cottage cheese, yogurt, materials like that. Those are the kind of things that need to stay out of any compost bin and be sourced directly to your organics cart. They take that further, they break it down into smaller pieces, and the temperatures get a lot hotter, so it's able to break down a lot quicker. And then they usually take that organics, and that usually gets sold to farmers in the valley or vineyards, stuff like that.
Now, let's start your demonstration.
Okay, excellent. Like I said, we have two separate bins here. This is a homemade bin, something you can make just on your own. We went to Target and got a Rubbermaid tote. We drilled some holes along the top edges because worms, of course, are living creatures. They need to breathe. It does definitely need to have a lid. The bin I have here is called a migrating bin. It's called the Wrigley Ranch. And this one will be something you most likely would buy. You could purchase either online, or you can check places like Craigslist or FreeCycle for stuff like that. So today I'm going to show you how to set up a worm bin. So first of all, you need some worms. You can source worms. If you go to the website stopwaste.org, you can click on, there's going to be a great link that's going to show you where you can buy worms. Generally, you need about a pound to start. The worm type is going to be the red wiggler. Those are the specific types that you're going to need for worm composting. And then, of course, you're going to need, your food scraps, and then you're going to need some bedding. And primarily for that, I really love recycling newspaper. It's also a great way to recycle newspaper as well.
Good.
All right. So I'm going to move my bin to the side. I have a bucket. I would normally fill this with water, but since we have a lot of electronics, I'm going to skip that. So you're going to fill it up with water, and you're going to shred your newspaper into small strips. I try to avoid doing it in a paper shredder. It gets a little too small, but hand shredding is nice. Ivessa loves to help me hand shred the paper.
Yes.
So you're going to prepare some bedding. The worms are eventually going to eat this as well as all the food scraps that you do provide them. I'm going to take this newspaper and I'm going to soak it, and I'm going to wet it, and I'm going to wring it out so it's damp as a wrung out sponge. I'm going to use my Wrigley Ranch as a demo. This is a great bin. It's a migrating bin, so it makes it easier for harvesting, but harvesting generally for worm bins is relatively easy. So I'm going to take my wet paper, And I'm going to layer it here on the bottom of the bin. And that's for any bin that you're creating, whether it be a Wrigley Ranch or something that you make at home. I'm going to put my pound of worms, and then I'm going to put some food scraps inside. I brought some today. I have some coffee grounds, some eggshells, and some fruit and vegetable peelings. That goes in there in the bin as well. I'm just going to pop it in there so it doesn't make a mess. Then I'm going to add another layer of wet newspaper on top, just like I did before. Pop that on top. And then I'm going to top the whole entire thing with another layer of dried newspaper, and that's it. Then after that point, you usually, when you first get the worms, you have to let them kind of get settled, get situated, probably for about a week or so. So you're going to feed them, and you're going to leave them alone. Don't bother them. You're not going to feed them for about a week. And then after that, you can continually feed them food, like sell your food scraps on a continual basis, and they will eventually break it down. They ingest it, as well as the worms that we have inside our worm bin. There's other host of macroorganisms that help break down the materials to make it accessible for the worms to eat. Worms don't have teeth, so we need the fungus, we need bacteria, and we need things like roly-polies, who are major shredders, to break everything down in order to do that. And that's pretty much it.
So, and then the worms go in last?
The worms go in with the food scraps.
Oh.
So it's going to be wet newspaper, worms and food, wet newspaper on top, dry newspaper on top, and then pop the lid on. And that's it.
Wow. Boy. So now you go out to like schools and community organizations and give this presentation?
Certainly. I work with garden clubs. There's things like libraries, other non-governmental organizations and schools, and talk to people about all the great benefits of composting and how easy it really can be.
Mm-hmm. So if a person would want you to come and give a presentation, what would they do?
They can just go ahead and contact me. They can either contact me through Stop Waste, or they can just send me an email. I'm compostgal@hotmail.com.
Great, and it's going to come up on the screen.
Yes?
Yes. So is there anything else you want to put out before we have the girls come on, before we end our program?
No, just compost happens. It's a really great way of building healthy soil. It's a great way of recycling materials on your property.
Okay, well, thank you. We're going to have the girls come on.
Excellent.
So, boys and girls and ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. We're going to have our two girls come back on. We'll be back in just a moment. And now the girls have prepared a chant for you. So here we go, girls. Go ahead.
Food scraps, dirty papers, plants. Break it down to the compost bins.
Great, girls. That was wonderful. Now tell me, how long did it take you to do this chant, to make it up, to create it?
I really didn't come up with it. I got it from her, and I believe she might have thought it up with her mom or something.
Great. Tell us how you decided to make this chant.
At my old school, we used to always do this chant, but it was sort of different, but one of my friends actually taught me.
Good. So you've taught it to other friends?
Yeah,
So everybody in your school knows it?
not really.
Just certain grades?
Yeah.
Good. Well, you did a good job. Maybe you'll be a songwriter too when you graduate from high school and college. Would you like to do that?
Yeah.
Good for you. And now, Lori, before we end our program, is there anything else you'd like to tell us about your career?
I am a master composter. We had a program here in Alameda County a few years ago, which teaches everybody there is about all you need to know about compost, how to do composting, all the benefits, of course, of composting. Oh my goodness. And I'm a graduate of San Francisco State University with a degree in environmental studies that I'm very proud of.
Great, great. And have you traveled?
I have not. I'm mostly a homebody. I do like to spend a lot of time when I can in my garden, of course with Ivessa, and time with my friends, and time just to sit down and relax and be in nature, go out on hikes, stuff like that. Go to nurseries and examine plants, and of course work on my compost, building my compost pile, my worms, and my basic compost as well.
Great. Did your parents like to garden?
They did. I come from a couple generations of gardeners. My grandmother, who Ivessa's named for, was a big gardener. She had a huge garden when I was a little kid, and my grandfather is obsessed with tomatoes. So he's always had tomatoes every year in his garden for as long as I can remember. So I think it's in the genes.
In the genes.
In the genes, absolutely.
And did you do canning?
I do. I'm a big jam maker, and I
Oh.
love to can tomatoes whenever possible. So
Good.
absolutely, I would like to expand on that. We'll have to worry about that next time.
Great. Now, before we run out of time, quickly tell us what the address is and people can contact you. It'll come up on the screen, but tell us again, please.
Certainly. Stop Waste is located at 1537 Webster Street, right downtown Oakland. You can reach me at compostgal@hotmail.com.
Good, good. Well, I want to thank you all for coming. You girls did a wonderful job.
Yes.
And I want you to go back to school and tell your friends that they can come and be on our show and talk about composting. So, Lori, thank you so much.
Welcome. Thank you so much for having me. I
Good.
appreciate it.
Good.
So go out and
without
compost,
further-
everybody.
Yes, so without further ado, let's all say goodbye. Goodbye, everybody, and thank you for watching.
Bye.
Bye-bye.